Hello everybody and welcome back to my learning space, and welcome back to day number 6 of the 10-day jazz piano basics course. Today we're talking about left hand voicings, and I might seem a bit excited because I like left hand voicings, but also because I got new lighting and it's just making me glow, and so I'm really excited about that. So excuse me for that. I picked the tune to work over today called Have You Met Miss Jones? And I picked this tune because I actually had a really good think about which tune to use that would really highlight the left hand voicings, and for the life of me I could not think of a tune. It's always when you have to think of something then you can't think of something, just because I think I like this tune and I think it's got good variety to talk about different aspects of left hand voicings. If you don't know the tune Have You Met Miss Jones, it's easily accessible on the real book, but for the purposes of this video I'm going to go over what's the functionality of each chord and how the progression works in the song. So the song is in the key of F major, and I'm adding the passing step, of course, as I always do, because I always make reference to the bebop major scale. So 5 sharp 5 to 6. So the song starts on chord 1, and as we have done on day 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 previously, I had mostly been working on root 7 third, and I'm going to use that way of voicing just to explain the geography of the piece. So it starts on chord 1. I'm not actually too sure if it's a major chord. I don't think it is, because a major 7, I mean to say, I don't think it's a major 7 chord. I think it's a major 6 chord. I think it's a major 6 chord just by virtue of the melody. So, but when it comes to improvisation and things like that, you can definitely make it a major chord. You'd have the license to change that, because both the 6 and the 7 are found within the scale D and E. And then it goes to chord, it's a D minor chord, but as jazz musicians we always try to find the best push-pull tension release situation, and why not make that a dominant chord? So this D7 will take us to G minor, and then it takes us to chord 5. So it happens twice. It does chord 2, 5 to chord 4. And here what really happens in the bridge is we have a set of, or a series of major thirds. So we have, if you think of major thirds, would be from B flat to D major, B flat major, D flat major, and then to F sharp major, and then back to B flat major again. So essentially it's a cycle that's using this sort of augmented sound to get itself back to where it was. So we have a 2-5 to B flat major, a 2-5 to G flat major, a 2-5 to D major, and a 2-5 to G flat major. So the tune goes. Then back to chord 1. This B flat 7 is kind of like a turnaround. It's quite a classic ending for songs, I think. You hear that a lot. And then it does 2-5 to 2. Now I want to talk about left hand voicings. So for this video, when I'm referring to left hand voicings, I'm basically talking about voicings that are rootless. So voicings that really do away with the root in its entirety. So the rule for left hand rootless voicings is it needs to start on the 7th or on the 3rd of the chord. So essentially it needs to start on a chord tone, which can only be the 3rd or the 7th. In the case of F major, the first one I'm going to show you is the one that is starting on the 3rd. So originally this is how we would know F major, right, in its root style position. And this voicing that I'm showing you sort of assumes a root position style chord, except it's starting on the A, and you'd have to play that with your left hand. So you would do something in your left hand. So it's like a rootless voicing, but with the 9th added on top. So we would have A, C, E, and G. Or 3rd, 5, 9, 3rd, 5, 7, and 9. So that's the first style position. Then the second one is we'll have to start on the 7th of the chord, and it essentially uses the same notes, right, but it's just arranged differently. So the E would be here, the G would be here, the A would be here. So using the same notes, actually, if that makes it easier to think about, using the same notes, just voice it starting from the 7th upward. So that would be, and this will apply for major or minor chords, dominant chords as well, although dominant chords they will vary as you choose tensions. But for minor chords, let's go to G minor for instance. So you can do one starting on the 3rd like this, which is a root position. I'm gonna play the bass just to give context. Okay. Or we can play it from the 7th, so the same notes is the 7th, right? For D7 here, I'm also going to start on, but for D7 I have the option of playing different tensions, so it could totally be this, but for a secondary dominant going to chord 2, you'd want to add something like a flat 9 to kind of take you to, you know, or I like to do a sharp 9. It's kind of like it's an altered resolution there. And now the thing with these rootless voicings, it makes 2/5s really simple. Actually, it makes voicing a 2/5 really easy in a way. So if I have G minor like this, notice how C7, because for C7 I'd need E, right? So I would just need to shift the F down to the E, because this would be the 13th. Here's the 7th, and here's the 9th already existing there. So same thing if I were to move on this position. The only thing I would need to move is the 7th down here, which will act as the 3rd of C7. Okay, and similarly with A minor 7 here from the 7th. I mean, I don't think at this range you would particularly voice it over here. That might be too high for a left hand voicing. So most of the time A minor tends to be voiced over here, unless you were doing some kind of introduction on the piano. You know, you can mess around with the range, but in terms of playing in a band, in the context of a band, you don't want to keep your left hand voicings too high. Like for me, voicing a left hand voicing above middle C is a bit too high. So I would keep A minor in the position of starting from the 7th, or if you like, you can do it here. That's up to you. So you would do something like but again, for me that's a bit low, so I will do it here. That leads really nicely. Okay, so I think the important thing to remember is to voice from the 7th or to voice from the 3rd. Okay, and you would apply the same thing for the bridge. So if I'm going to C minor, F7 to B flat major, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Here's the 3rd. Here's the root position style chord, right? Or I could voice it up here. You can decide whether that's high enough. I mean, I think that's fine. Then the 7th would need to go down. So same thing for A flat minor, starting on the 7th. This position, when you start on the 7th, creates a cluster voicing, which is really nice. So these voicings are all the same, really. It's just that I'm changing chords, but the structure of the chord is all the same. So I'm going to try to play it now using just left hand voicings. So for the B flat 7, you might want to do, because here here's the 3rd, so I would go from, and sometimes the left hand voicing might get in the way of the melody, or the melody might get in the way of the left hand voicing. And that's okay. You know, you don't always have to be playing chord melody, chord melody. Sometimes you just need give way to the melody, because it's actually more important, in my opinion, because there would be no song without a melody. So just give way to it. So if, because I think now that happened, so yeah. Oh, wait. Now just kind of lift my hand up for a second just to give way to the melody, and then comp it rhythmically as if it was meant to be that way or something. Okay. And then another thing that I want to talk about is adding tensions. So the tensions, I could talk about them as well, but one thing I want to stress is to use your ear as best as you can. Use your ear. It's really going to lead you, because I think tensions work best when they are applied for voice leading. Like even for instance with this D7 voicing, da, da, that's a nice one. Or da, it works well for the fifth of the voicing that you are going to. So that's definitely something that I would say. But again, secondary dominance usually really like sharp 9 or flat 9. So I would say do that. But also the melody here is doing this kind of. So for the G minor, there's 2/5. I would do maybe a C, C7 flat 9. Here I'm adding the ninth, but this ninth is actually not diatonic. You could also make this a half diminished, because traditionally it would actually, or should be a half diminished, because it's a minor 2/5. It's 2/5 of G minor, so it shouldn't actually be a pure minor, but you do have the license to do that, especially during the improv sections. Even during playing the melody, you know, I don't think this is in the melody, in the way of the melody. If I go here again, doing a flat 13, and I go to B flat major 9. Same thing, same idea. I mean, the idea of letting your ear lead you. Flat 13 can work here. Flat 9s, I will say, a flat 9 chord works a lot of the time. Whether it be major 2/5 or minor 2/5. If maybe you're stuck about which tension to choose, flat 9 is almost always going to work, but not always. But it's a tension that I use more than, for instance, a sharp 11. Sharp 5 also works pretty well, or flat 13 you can call it. Could even actually add a sharp 11 here. No, I don't know.